Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another live stream on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope everyone has had a great start to the week so far. Of course, you have, because we're going into the week on the back of an amazing Leeds United win yesterday against Millwall. Just before we get into the stream in more detail, guys, as always, please smash that like button. It really does help get the stream out there to more people. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. We're just over 300 subscribers away from hitting 3,000. Nearly there, guys, nearly there. If you could do me a solid, please hit the subscribe button. It would really, really mean a lot. Hit the notification bell so that you're always aware of when I'm uploading and going live. And of course, get all of your thoughts and opinions in the live chat as we go through the stream and in the comment section if you're watching after the stream ends. So then, 6 of you in the building as we speak. I'm sure more will join as we get more into the stream. There's a few comments already dropped in. We'll just get into them. Jay's always in the building. Evening, mate. It's funny how Mondays feel after. Yep, exactly. As I said, mate, I think it's nice to go into the week with a lot more positivity. And a lot more optimism and moving forward, because I certainly am feeling a lot more confident about our season after watching yesterday's game. And Rob's in the building. I watched it in a pub on the Isle of Wight, been high as a kite ever since. I'm sure you have, mate. I'm sure that was a good weekend for you. So then, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Let's start off with the lineup, shall we? I always like to get the opinion of everyone. Were you happy with the lineup when you saw it at 11 o'clock yesterday? Obviously, it was Ilan Meslier, Luke Ayling, Joe Rodon, Pascal Struijk and Sam Byram, Ampadu and Gray, Nonto, Somerville and Rutter with Yol Perot up top. Or was it Rutter up top and Perot in the 10? I don't know. But yeah, those were the 11 that went out. I'll be honest, on first instance, I was quite surprised to not see Jadon Anthony in there. I thought he would have been fit, given that he played a few games in the Premier League for Bournemouth. I did think that he would come into the team match fit, but obviously not. Farke must have just thought that he was only good for about 15 to 20 minutes, which is what he ended up getting. Obviously, Dan James was back in the squad, as was Ian Poveda, who both made the bench along with Joe Gellart, Cresswell, Shackleton, Carl Darlow, etc. So yeah, it was quite a strong bench for us as well, in all honesty, which was good to see that we did have players that could come on and do a job if needed. And I think all the subs that came on played their part and did really well as well. But yeah, I was fairly happy with the lineup. Obviously, the only change I would have made if he was fit was obviously Luke Ayling would have been out for Jed Spence. We found out today that unfortunately Jed Spence will be out for up to 8 weeks. He doesn't need surgery, but he's got a ligament injury in his knee, which will see him out until like the beginning or middle of November, which isn't ideal. Given the enthusiasm and the optimism around that signing. I was buzzing when that signing was announced. A real upgrade on Luke Ayling. Although Luke Ayling did okay yesterday, I just think there's a lot of frailties in Luke Ayling's game, which I do think teams are going to continue to target in Jed Spence's absence. But hopefully it kind of gives Luke Ayling a kick up the arse, really, and gets him into gear so that he actually starts fighting for his place, because I think he's maybe been a little bit complacent over the last few seasons, just knowing that he'll get into the team regardless. So at least Jed Spence will certainly offer him competition at the very least. Mike saying, so my Monday routine is now watching this. Keep up the good work, buddy. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Really do appreciate that. Jay saying, overall, it was a good team performance. First time we've seen a Leeds team all fighting for each other. Yeah, 100%. I think there's a real togetherness in the camp now. I think we've got rid of all the rats and all the snakes at the club and all of the cowards that were not up for the fight. And as I said, over the last few days, Farke knows what players he's got at his disposal now. He knows who he's got. He knows who he needs. And I think that will be a huge benefit for us moving forward. And as you've said there, Jay, everyone was fighting for each other, and it was really good to see. Jay's also saying he's gutted for Spence. Yeah, same here. But we do have 2 international breaks during the time he's out. So, yeah, hopefully it isn't that many games. Like I said, there are a few international breaks out there in the meantime, which is a shame in itself, in my opinion. I just love club football. Unless it's a Euros or a World Cup, I'm really not interested in England games. I'm really not. I only watched the Ukraine game on holiday just because I was on holiday. I really am not bothered for internationals, but if it gets Jed Spence back a little bit quicker, hopefully, then it will obviously be a benefit. And Ailing and Melia still worried. Yeah, I was about to come on to them, but yeah, you've made that point before me, Jay. No worries. Ailing and Melia still worry me, especially against Pep. Yeah, exactly. I think Connor at One Leeds tweeted this out earlier, and it was spot on. I think Ailing and Melier for me are the only weak links in our team now. And look, both players grew into the game yesterday and ended up having a really good performance in the second half. But I just felt, especially in that first 10 to 15 minutes when Millwall were on top, the rest of them managed to ride that wave pretty convincingly. But Luke Ayling, for me, there's a reason why a lot of teams play down that side of the pitch against Leeds. It's because of Luke Ayling. Luke Ayling is decent going forward. He is. He offers a fair bit going forward. I will say that. But defensively, the guy cannot defend 1v1. He defends square. His positional awareness at times baffles me. His footballing IQ is just not on the same level as a Jed Spence. And that's why I'm gutted that Jed Spence is out for as long as he is, because yes, Luke Ayling grew into yesterday and had a good game in the end. But I just think moving forward, there's Southampton a week Saturday, which, yeah, they're not great at the moment, but Southampton have got good players. And I think they will definitely target Luke Ayling that day. So he needs to be prepared for that. Against the teams that we've got, imminently, like Hull on Wednesday, and we've got Watford on Saturday, I think, against teams like that, we can hopefully get away with Luke Ayling's defensive frailties. But yeah, like Jay says there, I think against better teams, them two players in particular do worry me. Melier had a few shaky moments, but as I say, ended up growing into the game and made some decent saves. But like Jay said again, against better teams with better players and better finishers, I just worry about Melier. And he's not commanding enough for me from set pieces. There was times yesterday where he did win punches from corners, but they weren't convincing. He just looked like he was flapping at them. And for me, it takes too long on the ball sometimes. I just think, just make a decision. Even if you just hoof it upfield, just do something. Just dithers and dithers on the ball. Needs to get a lot more confident with the ball at his feet, as that's what Farke expects from his goalkeeper. He expects the ball at his feet and to play out of the back comfortably. So hopefully that's something that they can work on with him. But yeah, I think those two are the weakest links. But the rest of the players hopefully kind of help counteract that in a way. Mike saying, did you see Millwall new mascot, a kangaroo? Apparently, yeah. God, that guy in the grey tracksuit. I mean, look, I know it's all banter and it's all a joke, and I've seen the vlog from LUFC Lewis. I've seen clips from Millwall fans. I've seen clips from Leeds fans, and they're just embarrassing, aren't they, Millwall fans? I mean, this hatred that they've got for us, and yeah, admittedly, it's a mutual hatred, but Millwall fans especially. I mean, the Leeds players getting off the bus, saying stuff about Ayling's hair, calling Perot fat, calling them words that I won't say on stream. And then you've got that guy in the grey tracksuit who looks like he's just having a fight with himself. I mean, they're just there's fully grown adults. You know, that'll have been someone's dad. If that was my dad, and I saw my dad on Twitter and Instagram and all social media acting like that at a football game, especially that guy, who was going like that, I was just thinking, come on, mate, it's not needed. You know, those clips went out on social media and it was played in the ground as well, about tragedy chanting and taking the piss out of that sort of thing. And yet they've just blatantly ignored that. But, Millwall fans seem to get away with it at their own ground, which is quite bizarre to me. But anyway, let's move on from that nonsense, shall we? On a serious note, Gray and Ampadu, wow, what a partnership. Yeah, I must admit that was another surprise for me about the lineup as well. I thought Archie Gray would get a rest. But what my thinking is now is that he could potentially get a rest on Wednesday against Hull. And we could see Gruev or Kamara come in for him in that game. I think Ampadu's just one of the first names on the team sheet at the minute. Obviously, picked up player of the match from the Sky Sports pundits. I would have given it to Rutter personally, but I can obviously understand why Ampadu was given the man of the match. He's just everywhere, isn't he? Good range of passing, cool and composed on the ball, reads the game well as well. And, I think Archie Gray having someone like Ampadu next to him will only aid his development massively. So, yeah, it has been a really good partnership, but I think we could see a change in the midfield against Hull on Wednesday. Jay's saying one thing I do like is Farker seems to have recognised Ayling's weaknesses and has got Graham Road. Yeah, again, really good shout. I think you can always see that when Luke Ayling goes forward, that Gray kind of slots in on that right hand side, and Rodon obviously moves over a little bit to help as well, as you've said. Because, like you've said as well, and it is right, Luke Ayling cannot defend 1v1. That's why teams target him. So if he's got that cover there with him, then he's more, then he's less exposed. So yeah, I think Farker has definitely noticed that, mate. Yeah, 100%. 12k Millwall fans at the Den and not a brain cell. But is that how much it was? 12,000? Surely not. I thought it was a little bit more than that. 12,000. And then there was 2,000 Leeds. So that's about 14k. God, that's shocking, isn't it? That's Tim Pot, innit? God, that's more than Bournemouth. That's more than Bournemouth having there in Premier League. Emmett's saying, did anyone notice the little kid about 10 years old in amongst them idiot Millwall fans sitting down with his head in his hands? He must have been thinking, geez, my dad and uncles are some morons. No, I haven't noticed that, but at the same time, that does not surprise me in the slightest, mate. Does not surprise me. So then, let's move on then to the goals. Let's speak about the goals. I must have watched the first goal back at work today about 50 times. How long have we been crying out for a clinical finisher? Someone who knows where the net is and can put the ball in it. Sounds simple, but for some reason, Leeds United have made that simple thing a very difficult thing for the last few seasons. Yeah, we've had Bamford and he's had, decent spells, but we've never, well, in my lifetime supporting Leeds, I don't think we've ever had a clinical goal scorer like Joel Perreault. Obviously, I've been following Leeds from the League One days, so you could argue maybe Beckford, Becchio, those players of that ilk for Leeds United have probably been clinical as well. But Joel Perreault, obviously 44 goals in 98 championship games now, which averages out at about 1 in 2. He's scored 3 goals in 3 games for Leeds so far. So he's definitely repaying the fee as it stands. And like I said, against Ipswich, him and Rutter interchanged quite well. Then against Sheffield Wednesday, I was a little bit baffled by the tactics. But then yesterday was kind of back to the Ipswich mould where it was, to be fair, yesterday it was mainly Rutter further forward than Perreault, but I understood what the plan was yesterday. I understood that Perreault would drop deep and then he would join the attack late, in which he did for the opening goal. Because if you watch that opening goal back, Perot actually starts off really deep. And then as the ball's played over and on, so you can see him just joining the attack as the ball's played into Rutter, first time ball, and Perot's already there to finish it off. And the touch and the finish were just both sublime, absolutely unreal. And he did it like it were nothing as well, just easy finish for him. Yes, there was arguments about what happened in the build-up. If there's any Millwall fans in the chat, pipe down about it. At the end of the day, Luke Ayling did not handball it. He used his head. And then the supposed foul that Perot commits on, is it Nesbitt, is not a foul. Nesbitt's looking for it. He dives. There's slight contact, but he's making a meal of it to try and con the referee, which is why it wasn't given. But the counter-attack was just on fire, wasn't it? Unbelievable touch and an unbelievable finish from Yoel Perot. The only player in the front four who I thought had a bit of a mixed bag was Crescencio Somerville. Again, instances where he looked really bright on the ball, dynamic, looking to make things happen. But then at times I felt he did hold on to the ball a little bit too long in certain scenarios, which obviously slowed down the attack. And he did get dispossessed a few times. But other than that, I thought it was okay. But I think if I had to pick a weaker player out of the front four, it would have been Somerville. I thought Nonto was amazing. Rutter, the confidence in the guy at the minute is just growing and growing and growing. And then obviously Yoel Perot, just outstanding finish in the first half. And then obviously, at half-time, you're thinking Leeds have been fairly comfortable. We're a goal up. We've scored first in a game for the first time this season. And yeah, I'm feeling positive. But obviously, Millwall had a few chances in the opening stages. So obviously, I was a little bit sceptical going into the second half. Sorry. But again, we move into the second half, and even though it was still 1-0 up until about the 76th, 77th minute, I still felt Leeds United were in control. Millwall offered very little. It was just hoofball, trying to play through the channels, but Leeds were defensively solid. Very good defensive display from the boys yesterday. Ampadu again was just everywhere. Archie Gray was breaking up play as well. And I feel that we limited Millwall to very few chances in the game. And then the second goal came. Obviously, a few substitutions were made. Dan James comes on. Jadon Anthony comes on. I think Glenn Kamara and Elia Gruev came on as well. I think Gellart ended up coming on just for the closing stages after the last goal. But even Dan James, I think Dan James can be a very, very good asset off the bench. He proved yesterday that he can tire a defence out when they're already getting more tired. He was involved in both those goals in the second half. First one, obviously, he drives at the Millwall defence, plays Jorginho Rutter in, who I actually did think was going to take the shot on himself, but he plays it back to Dan James, who fumbles over the ball. But luckily, Yoel Perot is at the back stick. Again, positional awareness, knows where to be at the right time, tucks it home to make it 2-0. And at that point, I'm feeling more comfortable. I'm feeling more calm. And then obviously the third goal, again, good burst of pace from Dan James down that right-hand side. Sees Rutter in the middle, good ball in, and Rutter's just cool, calm and collected. Slots it home to make it 3-0 to Leeds. And it just capped off a very, very good performance from Jorginho Rutter. Again, I would have given him my man of the match. I know he did get it from the Leeds United socials. The fans who voted gave it to him, and I can thoroughly understand that. It's amazing what a few goals and a few good performances can do for your confidence, because he looks like a totally different player. Yes, it is the Championship and it's lesser opposition, but you've still got to play what's in front of you. and I feel like he's adapting fairly well to this league. And him and Perot seem to have a very good partnership and a very good understanding. So long may that continue. Let's get into some more of your comments. Mike saying, how do you see players returning from injury fitting in Bamford and Ferpa, etc.? Yeah, I mean, Bamford for me will be a bench player and will be a player that once Perot has done what he needs to do, or in games where maybe Perot's just not at it, you can maybe bring Patrick Bamford on, which can give you something different going forward. And Junior Firpo, again, the way Sam Byram's playing at the minute, I thought Byram was excellent yesterday, linking up really well with Nonto down that left-hand side. Some good 1-2s and some good attacks down the left. Can Junior Firpo get Byram out of the team? At the minute, no. So again, he would be a bench option. But again, adding Firpo and Bamford to that bench just makes it a little bit more stronger, doesn't it? So at least it would be a benefit in that way. One word, composure. Yeah. How long have we waited? Yeah, exactly, Jay. How long have we been waiting for it? It feels like ages since we've had a striker who just knows where the net is, and as you say, can just stay composed. Because for me, and I'm not just saying this to dig Bamford out. Maybe the second one, I think even Bamford would have put away at the back stick, but the first one, I don't think Bamford scores that first one. I just don't, because Bamford's predominantly left-footed, so he'd probably hit it into the side netting, whereas Perot can play on both feet, which is why, good first touch, class finish. And again, I'll probably continue to watch that goal back a few times before I go to bed tonight as well, because it was just an absolutely unreal finish from both Perot and Rutter. Yeah, 100% Jay, yeah, 100%. NFT Investments is saying, high power front four and the options we have for the bench is tasty, very tasty. Perot is the sort of striker we've needed for a long, long time. Still needs a 10 to break down teams at home. Yeah, 100%, mate. And, I think there's players that can do a job there at the minute, but I think in January, a number 10 and a left back have to be the priority for me. Yes, Byram is doing well, and I have just said that, but for me, I would have Byram over Firpo, because Firpo I don't think is a competent left back. Whereas if we signed a Charlie Taylor or a different left back, I think they could probably come in and get Byram out of the team. But even if Byram drops to the bench, it just makes the squad look a whole lot better. A whole lot better. Jordan saying better was ailing that injured spirits in training. Yeah, 100%. Crazy how fast Farker's got the team to gel reasonably well. Yeah, exactly. And, it just shows you that in that international break, they've been really working hard to, get players integrated, especially the new signings. And as I said right at the beginning, it just feels like there's a real togetherness now. And, you see Farker at the end of the game with the Leeds fans that travelled down, he was saluting them and he was clapping them, and, all the fans are getting right behind him. And it just, I don't want to speak too soon. Obviously, it is only 6 games in, but it feels like the start of something really good. I was even saying at work today to someone that even if we don't go up this season, and I'm not saying we won't, by the way, because I'm feeling a lot more confident about it now. But even if we don't, I have full confidence that Daniel Farker will get us up next season. If it isn't this season, it'll be next season, because Daniel Farker has managed the transfer window well. He's managed the expectations well. He's managed all the players that wanted to leave really well. Speaks really well. The football's getting better game by game. The togetherness is growing. The fan base is back on side and enjoying watching us again. Because yesterday it was just refreshing to watch. Even if we'd have only won that game 1-0 in the end, the football itself was just better. 3 goals away from home, clean sheet, Millwall in their cup final. It was just unreal, wasn't it? It was just a real good afternoon of football, and To make it even better, Man United got beat at home this weekend as well. So, there's always that. If Carlsberg did weekends, it would have been this one, 100%. So obviously, as the title of the video suggests, guys, it's 7 points from 9 now, which is really good. Good run of form. 2 clean sheets in a row. And again, the title of the video, is this a turning point for Leeds now? Are we all confident that Leeds United can now go on a bit of a run and put some wins together, avoid defeat for a while and just climb that league, because we're 10th at the minute, just behind Southampton, I believe. And, a few more wins would see us be comfortable in that top 6. I think Leicester are playing really good football at the minute as well. And I think the game against Leicester in November at the King Power, I think, will be a very good indicator to see where Leeds truly are, in our season. Obviously, there's Southampton next week, which I think will be a tougher away fixture, but I think Leicester is a much tougher prospect than Southampton at the minute based on their game that they played against each other on Friday. Thought Southampton were non-existent. Leicester just cut through them like they weren't even there. And yeah, look, if we can pick up a win or at least a point against Leicester, then I think that's a good result. But I do think we're capable of beating Leicester. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I think Leicester are definitely going to be in that top 2. Even if they don't win the league, I think they'll be at least second. I think they'll definitely go up. Enzo Maresca's got them playing good football. The confidence is high. Yeah, they got beat by Hull, ironically, who we've got on Wednesday. But other than that, they have looked fairly solid this season. But, is this a turning point now, guys? There's, Hull and Watford up next. If we could have 3 wins in the space of a week, that league table would look a whole lot healthier, wouldn't it? But even if we can go, obviously we've had 7 points from 9. Even if we can have another 7 points out of 9, with 3 points, closer to that. I think Hull, Yorkshire derby away from home, that fans will be bang up for it. But then again, Millwall, it was their cup final. It was their cup final. Their fans were bang up for it, and we went there and did naught with them. So, hopefully we do the same to Hull. Watford, decent start to the season. So, that game won't be easy, and it's at Ellen Road, so it'll be interesting to see how Watford turn up and play in that one. Are they going to follow a Chef Wednesday model and just come and sit in, hoping to get a point, or are they actually going to come and try to play football? Hopefully they come and try to play football, because obviously Millwall tried it yesterday and we cut through them like butter. Hopefully we can do that if Watford play like that against us. But like I say, Hull and Watford now, guys. Hopefully it's a turning point. Hopefully, we can go on a bit of a run. I am confident of that. I do think we'll beat Hull, in all honesty. I do. I think Watford could be a draw as I'm sat here now, but as it gets closer, I might get more confident. We'll see how we do against Hull on Wednesday first. But yeah, just want to know your guys' thoughts. Are you confident that this is now a turning point, and can Leeds United go on a good run of form now? And if the investments is saying we'll outscore 99% of teams in the Championship, however, I'm still not convinced with us defensively. Some teams. Yeah, as I say, I think defensively we are still vulnerable, especially on Luke Aylin's side of the pitch. As Jay said earlier, though, Archie Gray and Joe Rodon can kind of fill in for Aylin when Aylin goes forward, so that he's not as exposed. But I still feel down that right-hand side we are more open to teams attacking us down that side. Jay saying make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, guys, as I said, just to round this stream off, guys, we'll bring it to a close in a second. But really good away performance from Leeds United yesterday. I felt it was arguably the best performance of the season. Um, you know, cool, calm, and collected in the final third, finishing chances off, good on the ball. Possession based style is really kicking in from Daniel Farker, and I have the utmost confidence that Leeds United can go on a decent run of form now and hopefully, climb more and more up the league. Jay's saying, I think Hull will be tough, but I can see us picking up a 2-1 win. I think we beat Watford at home. Yeah, hopefully, and, we'll make it 9 points from 9. And, it would be, again, a real turn in form. And, hopefully it sees us climb higher up the league. But yeah, guys, we'll bring the stream to a close there. Really do appreciate everybody that has joined in the chat tonight. It's been a good discussion as always. Just a brief announcement. Obviously, I did post on my socials over the weekend, would people be interested in seeing a podcast come to the channel once a week, where, I get maybe, I don't know, a fan of the channel, I get other content creators, friends of mine, whoever, to come on and do a podcast once a week regarding Leeds, and I did get a good response, so it is in the works. I was hoping to start it this week, but I think with the congested fixtures and the amount of time it's gonna take me to work out the logistics, like a day of the week, time, and everything else that I've got going on. So it is in the works. It is in the thought process at the minute, and it will be coming as soon as possible. So make sure that you keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, just before you go, guys, if you wouldn't mind smashing a like on the stream, it really does help get the stream out there to more people. Share it with your friends, your family, your neighbours, whoever, and hopefully we'll get more eyes on the channel. Please subscribe if you are brand new as well. It really does help me out. I really want to hit 3K as soon as possible. So if you could help me out with that, that would be amazing. Hit the notification bell, and of course, get all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And I will be back tomorrow evening with my match preview ahead of the Hull game. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.